Hi, I'm Jenny Lessard. I'm a chef and culinary consultant and a citizen of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. I'm really excited to have in the kitchen today Chef Doug Hyndford, Director of Hospitality at Wanuskewin near Saskatoon.
I'm a member of Peepekasi's First Nation in Treaty 4 near Fort Capel, Saskatchewan, born and raised in Ottawa and moved around Canada a fair amount.
Wonderful. Today we're going to make one of your legendary recipes that you serve out at Wanuskewin. It's the wild rice salad full of berries and a bit of bison jerky. That's super interesting. And the secret ingredient that ties it all together is your maple canola oil vinaigrette. So
Yes.
very excited. Tell me a bit about the inspiration for your salad and what goes in it.
So it's very adaptable. Right now there are some problems with food chain supplies. Sometimes you can't get what you necessarily
Yes.
need. So it's adaptable, and it's also adaptable in kitchens. So if you don't have this ingredient, that ingredient, basically I'm going with wild rice is my
The body
the
of
bulk,
it. Yeah.
yes. And then I'm adding nuts, I'm adding berries, and again, optional on the bison jerky. If you want it vegetarian, you don't have to go that way because all the rest of the ingredients is vegan and vegetarian and low fat. And then again, to keep the nod into a indigenous cuisine, I'm adding maple syrup and making a maple vinaigrette. So that's just, again, keeping the nod alive.
Yeah, I'm so excited to try this. Tell us about wild rice. It's not actually a grain, is it?
No, it's a grass, and I came here in about mid-60s, early 70s, and it did really well. So because it's not a rice and because it is a grain, what I'm going to do is take this, I'm going to drain this for you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
So I've been soaking this for 24 hours now, and you could soak it for another 24 hours. You might want to change the water. But you can see that the grains are starting to open up. I've lessened the cook time by probably about a half an hour.
But you did bring some cooked, right?
I brought some cooked just
Okay.
to save us a little bit of time.
So what else do we have going in here?
Well, first things off, we'll demonstrate. So the berry component. You can just do fresh berries. I like to dry it out just because it gives a nice, you got to think of textures. You
Yes.
know, the wild rice, because I've boiled it, is softer now. We've got crunch on the nuts. So I like a little bit of chewy. So I'm going to take these blueberries and just like this, pop them in a nice slow oven and let them go until they've dehydrated and collapsed down. I'm not looking necessarily for any sort of caramelization to happen. I'm just getting rid of the moisture and making that berry dense in flavor.
Perfect.
So the water, anytime when we're doing reductions, we're getting rid of the water and we're just concentrating the flavors.
Nice.
So we're doing that with the berries, and we're also changing the texture to give it a little bit of chew into our salad. You may notice in my recipe it says walnuts.
But you
and
didn't want to hurt me because I'm allergic to walnuts.
Exactly, and also I had some almonds.
So you use what you have, right?
And
Anything
and that's
seedy,
it.
nutty. Yeah.
Look at the recipe, follow the recipe in that it's guiding you. So if you're like, you know what, I'm not a big walnut fan, so don't use walnuts. Use whatever kind of nuts. If you're allergic to nuts, obviously don't use any nuts.
Use any nuts.
Just use seeds. So we've got some pumpkin seed here. We've got some sunflower seed here. Honestly, it's your favorite seeds, your favorite nuts.
Chef's choice.
Chef's
Home cook's choice.
So the only reason I'm really toasting this is I want to get a little bit nuttier of a nutty flavor, and also I'm releasing the essential oils by heating them up.
But you don't need oil in this step, where our canola oil is coming in next, right?
Yes, our canola oil is coming
Okay.
in. Our canola oil is going to come in 2 steps. So this is about 1 cup of wild rice that was raw, and now it's about 2 cups once it's cooked and expanded.
Oh, it does expand quite a bit.
It does expand, yeah. And then we have some cold pressed canola oil.
Look at the color.
I'm gonna layer that in first, just so it's all on my grains, and
Nice.
and it kind of makes things not so clumpy.
And we
then-
do have the measurements for you folks. Doug has made this salad 100,000 times, so he doesn't have to measure anymore.
Yeah, and what I'm going for here is I want it to coat, and you'll notice the bottom of the bowl isn't drowning in canola oil.
Oh,
It's
I
just,
get it. This isn't the vinaigrette. You're
This
just
is not.
coating the
I'm just coating this, and we're layering in.
in the flavors.
Yes, and again, I'm going to salt this a little bit. I'm going to
Love
pepper this
this.
a little bit. I'm going to salt and pepper our vinaigrette as well. So there's our base.
Beautiful.
And then to that, I'm going to add, because I like them, pumpkin seeds.
I like them too. So
Again,
there
that
goes the dried berries that we're going to use. We'll add our blueberries in later if they're done in time.
Yeah, but if not, I've got cranberries in here.
How do these look, Doug? Are they ready?
They look perfect.
Okay.
Nicely done. There's a little bit
Ooh,
of browning
put this
in there.
right in?
Toss them all right in there.
Okay.
And you can see now it's got a nice color to it, nice and brown.
Beautiful.
You can smell it.
Oh, I can smell it.
And we can smell it because the oils have released, and we're getting some more of that,
So much more interesting than just.
right?
So
a lot
you're
more
building
flavor.
textures and flavors and colors and.
Yes, and on this one, because, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of a brownie looking
Yes,
salad. But I'm really concentrating on the flavors. And I'm thinking that the wild rice is nutty. So I'm playing on that. And maybe I'll back off on the nuts a little bit and add more of the fruit because I've already got a nutty flavor going
Right.
on in there. So all we got to do now is add a little bit of green onion to this. So we're just going to do a nice diagonal fine slice, and we'll just move along. You can see I've got the claw going on because of years of stitches and blood all over food.
Yeah, don't do that.
I haven't done that in so long, and I hope I just didn't
No,
jinx
you
myself.
won't. Is this going in the vinaigrette or right in the bowl?
It's going to go right into the bowl because our poor little brown salad needs a little bit more color, and that's just
We
going to
added some
go
springtime to our fall salad.
exactly. And then that's it.
Do you mind if I mix this?
Yeah, mix away, and I'll start working on our vinaigrette. Yeah, so this is now what is going to make this salad different. And now you can also be inventive on if you're making this at home and you want to do something a little bit different. By all means, play around. The best thing to do is to play. I would also use spruce tip vinaigrette, right? Or I know you like to work with birch syrup.
I do, yes.
So a birch syrup vinaigrette,
Depending on the season and what we've been harvesting.
right? Exactly. It's all.
Choke cherry, maybe a little bit of choke cherry. juice.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So what I'm doing is just kind of breaking down all the fibers and all those the pulp.
Oh, wow.
And then before I cut it up and make it give up that lovely juice, I'm just going to get a little bit of the zest. So this is the best and easiest way to do it.
How far down do you go? Like sometimes I get too much and I think I've made it a bit bitter, but
Yes.
don't press too hard.
Well, don't press too hard, and that's going to be enough for us.
Oh, wow. That'll.
If you don't have a fancy microplan, so this is Culinary School 101.
Okay.
This is how we make our lemon zest.
Beautiful.
So how far you go down is what you asked. That's too far down
Because you're seeing the white.
because I'm seeing the white. So now I'll go back and take off that piss.
Okay, and that would pass chef inspection if it was like that now.
My chef was Austrian, so it would depend
well,
on his
maybe not.
mood. Was I being cheeky in class all day?
Yeah,
Because otherwise he'd be
Probably
like,
were.
"Dogs." And then what I would do is take this, drop it in some boiling water for about 10 seconds,
Okay.
and then out of the boiling water into an ice bath,
Oh.
and then take it out. So that even gets rid of that little even bit more bitterness.
Okay.
Okay, so onto our cold pressed canola oil maple vinaigrette. I measured my maple syrup, and I'm gonna go, and this you can vary, I'm gonna go equal amounts. I want it heavy, I want it sweet, I want it, I want it because I'm doing that heavy
Right.
wild rice salad.
It depends what your application is, right?
Exactly.
I love this maple syrup you're using. It's Wabanaki maple syrup from Tabik First Nation in New Brunswick.
So I'm just gonna funnel this with my hands so I don't
Okay.
get any seeds in there. And I want to get about 2 tablespoons of, hopefully, is what I'm going for. I'm probably at 1 healthy tablespoon there. See, my hand caught that seed, so that's not in our vinaigrette anymore. So then what I would be doing if I was making this, you know, in a more traditional way, I would now be just dribbling in the oil, because oil and the vinegar or the waters, you can see they don't like each other. Like,
They do not mix.
they do not mix, and we're gonna say, no, you are gonna mix. You're gonna bend to my will. So
Chemistry.
So because we're gonna get shaky with this, I'm just gonna dump it all in. Gonna add a little bit of salt again. Okay, so now we want to emulsify this vinaigrette. So we're just gonna shake it madly, like a scene out of Cocktail. So now, how much to add? And again, this is all just based on, what did I do? 4 tablespoons, probably. So I'm gonna mix it up. And again, almost like with the canola oil, it's on the bottom there, but it's not a pool of,
That's what you don't want. Is
you
a
don't
big-
want a
You don't want to
pool.
marinate this.
Yeah, like it's just to enhance the wild rice.
Could you make this ahead and keep it in the fridge for a couple of
Yeah,
days?
I think it would just get better as
Yeah,
we go.
I think so.
We don't have a fancy ring, so I just cut
I love that.
some of that off. We will slowly build ourselves a little mound of wild rice salad. I'm just going to kind of push it down a little bit just to give it a foundation. Add a little bit more. That looks like a right amount. I'm going to just squish it in here a bit. And then while I'm squishing, I'm lifting. And then we've got some of our Wanuskewin co-op branded bison jerky that we'll just do a nice little matchstick cut. Can never have too much jerky, just to give it that smoky flavor.
Yum.
And just for that extra little hit of healthiness, we'll add some of this arugula. Let's add a little bit of your dried blueberries that's come out of the oven. And there we go.
Beautiful. That came together beautifully. I have heard about this salad, and now I am seeing it and I'm about to taste it.
Nice.
Okay, here goes. Doug's wild rice, canola, maple, bison, berry,
Goodness.
nuts, everything. When my grandma would eat something really, really good, she would say, "My, that's nourishing." And that's what I felt when I tasted it. And all those textures and flavors is just amazing. Thank you so much, Doug.
Well, thanks for having
Let's
me.
cook together again soon.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.